Good morning. Welcome back to A Day in the Life with Daphne's Bird Barn. My name is Misty, and today is our second Let's Talk Crochet Tuesday. Today we're going to go over all the tools that you're going to need for crocheting. Some of them you won't need until later on when you decide that crocheting is a good hobby to have. So let's get started. The first tool that you're going to need is a crochet hook. There are several different types of hooks that you can get. We have the, I'll start out with my favorite and then I will show you some of the other ones. My favorite are the Susan Bates hooks, and they're inline hooks. So it goes in like that, has a point here. This is the grip. This right here is what's known as the shaft. And this is the head. Doesn't sound very good, but. All right. The next is you just have a rounded one. And see, it's more round, doesn't have quite a thing. I'll hold them up to compare the two. And the difference too is with these ones, the diameter will stay the same. So like this one is a 6 millimeter. It will be 6 millimeters all the way around from here to here. This one is a 5.75 millimeter, and it will only be the 5.75 millimeter for this little bit right here. It doesn't go all the way to the grip. And this one looks a lot different than this one. I made a special handle with polymer clay. I put the numbers in there as well so I'd know what size. This was my go-to hook for a long time when I first started because of that hand injury that I had. I couldn't hold a smaller hook like this, but now I can hold very small hooks. Hooks also come in lots of different sizes. So these are just a few. These are ones that I have made the handles on with polymer clay. You can also buy them with these handles that are already on here, and they're just rubber that go on. There's also different like ergonomic hooks that you can get. These still have price tags on them because I have not used them yet, but someday I might. They also have giant hooks, big old giant hooks. These are plastic. These are what you would call aluminum. They make them out of wood. I have wood ones too. Okay, and then we have ones that are steel hooks that are these little teeny tiny guys, and they are meant for working with thread and not yarn. The thread is this little teeny tiny stuff, not the big old thick yarn. So these ones, again, I couldn't hold anything that tiny. This was still pretty tiny for me, so I didn't get into this until I'm going to say about a year ago is when I finally got into doing the jewelry with this stuff. So these ones have the little orange handles that I made. These are what they actually look like, and they are just tiny. One thing to know about crochet hooks as well is that the size of the hook is usually always printed right here on the thumb grip. Okay. You are also going to need a measuring tape. I suggest getting like a cloth one that's not like for construction, just a cloth one that easy to maneuver. Because sometimes you're going to have to measure around things, and, well, you need something that is flexible. Stitch markers. Stitch markers, they mark your place when you need to, like, sometimes you'll have to mark a certain stitch in your pattern so you know that that's where you start when you come back or something. Or also if you're going to leave your work overnight, you can put this in your stitch and it'll hold your place. Here is one kind, and it just looks like a little baby cloth pin, and it clips like that and sticks on your stitch. This one is pretty similar, just a bit bigger. Also, it hooks like so. If you don't want to get fancy and purchase these, a bobby pin works. So does a safety pin. Or you can make your own. I don't have any of mine out yet, but I do have some available on my Etsy store. You just take a couple of charms, and you need a bigger size lobster clasp, and then you can make your own crochet stitch markers. You could also use that method to then make row counters. You just add a number bead to it. It is another important thing that you're going to need is a row counter. Here is an example of one type of row counter, and you just move them for your rows. I don't use this one. My phone. This is the new one that I use because I usually always have my phone with me when I'm crocheting. Let's see if we can get that up. Right there. It's row counter. And you just do this, and you start your project, and it will you decide what type of craft you're using, whether it's knitting, crochet, machine, or loom. You pick that, you hit next, and then you just count your rows for you as you go. Okay, yarn. You're going to need yarn for sure. There are so many different types of yarn, sizes, everything. I'm going to do a whole new different segment on yarn alone because there's just so much yarn that you'll need. But here's an example. Yarn. And then, let's see, needles. You need needles too. You can get some big blunt tip needles. I don't see where my needle holder is. Oh, there it is. These ones are plastic ones. You want your needles to have a large eye to make it a little easier to get your yarn into it. You don't want itty bitty ones because that is kind of hard to get your yarn into. So they make plastic ones. Let me find some of my bigger ones. They also have the metal ones, large eye. This one also has a bent tip. Make it a little easier to get under them stitches. And then here's one of the blunt ones I was talking about. See, it doesn't really have a point, but it still has that large eye up here. Let's see. Okay. After the needle, you're going to need some scissors. These will work. They're a little big for my liking. I like to get the ones that are like these. These go good in like your yarn bag. Take it with you. Okay. I didn't have this on my list, but This is important. It also kind of goes along with the needles and stuff. And then it's to help you thread your needle. You can also get these plastic ones that are just a big loop with a long thing. Works out great. You just take hi Cooper. You take your needle, stick it in, put your yarn over, pull it through, and your needle is threaded. Did you make it? For you. Thank you.
It's a bracelet.
You did a good job on that. Does it got another pattern?
No.
Kinda. It's kind of got a pattern. Good job. High five. Hug.
Oh!
Love you.
Love you.
Okay, go watch your show.
I love you, Mommy, so much.
I love you too. Okay, thank you. All right, so we did the needle threader. Another good thing to have is a hook organizer. Mine's a little messy because I carry my itty bitty projects in there. This is going to be a rose. Doesn't look like it right now, but it will. Okay. So this so far has been my favorite needle organizer. Well, needle hook. It's like this. It actually has two different sides to it. So you unzip it, and this is the first side. Holds all of my needles, my hooks. I got a couple needles right here. Got some things up here. This is a whole big pocket of stitch markers right here. Okay. And then you can open up the other side. It has a large pocket over here. And then more space, more storage for hooks. See, you've got different styles. I'll show you this one. This one's, it's got a wooden handle. So, another good thing to invest in for crocheting is to get a stitch book. This one, it has knitting and crochet stitches, but it has got every stitch that I could ever need in this book. And this isn't the only one I have. I have a couple of shelves on my bookshelf full of crochet books alone, and a 4-inch binder full of patterns that I've gotten for free. You could also need to get like a bag or a tote, and that will help you carry your projects around with you. I am using right now one of the bags that I made. You can get more fancy and actually buy one in the crafting store. It'll have different pockets for different things, including spaces for like your crochet hooks. I have a couple of them, but they all have different projects in them. That's kind of how I keep my projects sorted, organized. They're great. Some people use blocking mats. I don't, but I guess you could. They come in handy. I'll show you a picture right now where we're at. And then it's, as you can see, it's just a interlocking foam mat. Depending on how big your project is, you could need more than one. If it's just a small little like granny square, you just need that one, and you just pin it to there. And there's a few different types or a few different ways that you can block your project. They all involve water. We'll go over that in some of the later videos. And then a yarn bowl. I'll show you my yarn bowl. My yarn bowl is gorgeous. My friend Crystal made this yarn bowl for me. And it just holds your yarn. You put it in. You take the end of your yarn and you stick it in the hole. And since my Crystal has a great sense of humor, it comes right out the butt. It's great. If you would like Crystal to make you something unique like this, you can check out her Etsy shop and message her. I will put the link in the description box below. She would love your business. She does a wonderful, wonderful good job. And I believe most everything is free shipping. And it is all packaged very, very well. And she's pretty quick about it too. These are handmade. I love my yarn bowl. And last but not least, a swatch ruler. The swatch ruler is going to help you measure your stitches to your rows to give you like a 4x4 square, and it'll tell you how many rows and how many stitches it's going to take to get that 4x4 square. Also can be like for gauge and stuff like that too. So, well, that is all for today's lesson. There are going to be more tools that you'll find later on. These are just some of the basic ones. But we'll talk more about some more crochet topics next Tuesday. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. That way you'll get the notifications when these new videos come out. You have a wonderful day, and we will see you back next week for another Let's Talk Crochet Tuesday. Thank you.